Alrighty. That means this is episode 323 of We Were Gamers, a podcast where we talk about stuff. And this week, we're going to talk about some stuff. Trust me. I'm JJ, and with me are my wonderful co-hosts, Michael.
What's going on?
And Andy.
Hey, he's got the pepper.
Are we baseball? What?
Oh, pepper. Interesting. I was going pepper because of food, but pepper in baseball too. Yeah.
Yeah. It is spicy both ways, I guess, right?
I was going to say, speaking of spicy baseball, did you guys see that a triple play got turned today?
Oh, man, that's pretty cool.
Where the Angels play?
Did the Angels give it up?
I want to say it was the Twins and the Rangers.
Nice.
Andy, I know you follow Thrown Out on the Base Paths. It's on there.
I usually do a Thrown Out on the Base Paths bedtime recap. I have a routine. I have a routine now. I have my morning routine and my evening routine. For the time when you're indisposed and can't go anywhere, you know what I mean?
Yep.
The morning routine is a Wordle and Worldle and Global and Framed. And I
was going to ask if you were doing Framed. I've been enjoying Framed recently.
Framed recently, I've gotten most of them in 1 to 2.
I got today on 1.
Good for you.
I was like, I was like, is it this? And I just like typed it. I was like, oh my God, I'm right. I haven't even seen that movie.
Oh, I got Framed on 3 today because I have not seen that movie.
Yeah.
But I got Framed in 2 when I haven't seen the movie before, just because it's like, I know what this is.
Yeah. Sometimes you just know, right?
My favorite one from days ago, which we could ruin because it was days ago, was the Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
I got that on 1.
Yeah, I got it on 1 also. I
saw that. I'm like, this is Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Easy.
Yeah.
Easiest one I've ever done.
Well, they put a picture of Bob Hoskins on the thing, and it's like Huey, Dewey, and Louie, and it was like, come on.
It said like Valiant and Valiant solve case or whatever. I didn't even look at the picture. I'm like, Valiant. That's definitely Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I just immediately entered it and got it right.
Yeah. There's been some good ones on Framed recently. I can usually finish all those in under 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Global today, and I may be dropping off of Global because sometimes they put you in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and you need to know that Nauru is a country.
Yeah. And is different from Tuvalu.
Yeah. And, after you've already guessed everything from the Solomon Islands through Papua New Guinea.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not that fun. Then the nighttime routine is a couple Twitter recaps, and one of which is Thrown Out on the Base Paths, because usually by then most of the games are over.
That was a long story. Several days ago. A great one I saw several days ago from Twitter was a batter fouled the ball off into the dirt directly in front of him, and it just stuck there. Like it didn't bounce. Stuck in the dirt in front of him, like embedded in the ground.
That's really, really hard to do.
Everyone didn't know what to do. The catcher is like, what? The batter is like, what do I do? Do I run? And this is foul. Am I out? And the umpire was like, it's foul. After everyone stood around for like 10 seconds, it was just like, you know what? It's foul. We're just gonna. No one knows what to do with this.
Foul ball. Yeah,
it may have been fair based on where it was. I didn't couldn't really see, but yeah.
I saw one similar in the opposite direction. I saw a guy hit the baseball on a 1 hop. So the pitcher threw a 58-footer, and the batter was swinging down at the ball and managed to pick it up as it was hopping back up off the dirt.
Does that count? I don't think that counts.
Apparently, it apparently is a live ball.
Huh. And he can hit it, though?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, he hit it at somebody and got out, I think. I think he just, lined it right at one of the
so now that's why I was about to ask if it was a line drive. Didn't it already hit the ground once?
I don't think that.
But after he hit
not after he hit it, though. Not after he hit it. Very cleverly worded baseball rule book.
Yeah, I guess it, Matt. Yeah, I guess you can, because you can hit a wild pitch too. It doesn't have to cross the plate or anything.
Can I run over to where it is rolling on the ground and swing at it golf clubs?
No, you can't leave the batter's box.
You can't. Okay, got it. Darn. My plan to Happy Gilmore the ball is out.
I mean, you could stretch for it as long as you tapped it before your feet left the box.
Yeah. I mean, if the pitcher botches it at you.
God, I hope they don't. That's so dangerous.
Yeah, it is. I mean, there are some of the women that play what the women's baseball is like. That underhand throw is vicious.
Women's baseball? You mean softball?
Is it called softball? I didn't know if it was called softball.
The underhand throw is softball.
Yes.
Okay. That throw is vicious, man.
Yeah. The thing about that is that you don't get as injured in that game because the pitchers are insanely accurate. They don't have to throw balls in that. Because you can't hit the pitch. So
yeah.
So the best pitchers in softball just throw strikes the whole time.
Yeah. They're also closer to the home plate because the base path is shorter.
Right. Which causes the pitches that come the same speed, JJ, about reacting at certain distances. I mean, they're talking about moving pitchers back in baseball.
Oh, because it's too easy?
The reaction time is too... No, because the reaction time is too short.
The pitching is too hard.
Pitching is
too dominant.
Yeah, pitching is too dominant league-wide, in theory.
I see.
Not for the Angels.
All right. Well, anyway, these are the sorts of things you talk about when the three of us get together. And the three of us got together this past weekend.
Hey!
I'm still tasting that macaroni.
The gnocchi and the octopus.
Dude.
That octopus.
You won. You won. I think
dreaming about that octopus.
I sat and thought about it for a long time, and while I would order the gnocchi more because I could eat it more often. That octopus is amazing.
I went out on a limb and ordered it. Right, it's one of those things where I'm not going to order that at a restaurant I don't know that I would trust. But I've had great food at that restaurant. Well, before it moved locations, I guess I could have got burned. But you vouched for it. You said it was still good. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go for this. And it was good.
Yeah. So shout outs to Old Vine Kitchen. That's what they are now, right?
You almost called it
I almost said cafe. Yeah.
Yeah. Old Vine Kitchen and Bar.
Yeah. So people check that place out. It was a lot of fun. Had a wonderful little table outside. Had a great time there.
How attentive is that owner? Woo-wee.
Oh, he was awesome.
Is he like that every day? The dude just
can you believe it?
Is working.
Yeah.
Man, what a cool guy.
Love what you do.
True story.
Anyway, really great time. It was so nice to see you guys.
It was wonderful.
Love doing that. And it was nice that we had a wonderful reason to celebrate that we learned of, and that was great. We're all very happy for you, Michael, and your wife.
Thank you. Yeah, we're excited,
buddy.
Yeah.
Buckle up. Is that where the rest of that was going?
No. Just don't overinvest in buying a lot of Steam games.
Sure.
I can tell you from experience.
I think the proper response to that is too late.
Yeah, it's already too late. Yeah.
That time will come back around when your kids are, in their teens and older and don't want to be around you anymore because you're their dad and you're uncool. And you're like, great, I'm going to go play some games later.
You got to take them to everything though. So unless you got a Steam Deck.
That's why you get them a driver's license, and it's their problem, not your problem anymore. I know how that works. That happened to me. I think we let it off last week with some talk about Andy and your e-bike.
I did.
Have you... We asked people if they wanted to hear more. I think the people are interested.
Okay. That's true, because we did get emails. So we could just do emails about that. And then also I could clarify. What did I need to clarify? Oh, I don't know if I was right or wrong on the mileage. Oh, we also have to do another email clarification, don't we?
I guess you're saying
do
we do. So I'm trusting you.
Alan Moore, Neil Gaiman clarifications.
Okay.
As called out by
Ken. Yeah.
Did one of us, or was it me maybe, who said?
No, I think what happened is
you wrote Swamp Thing.
I said that because we were talking about Neil Gaiman, and then we started talking about Alan Moore, and their differences in management in Hollywood productions, and it sounds like we got that a little bit twisted up, and then I either wasn't clear, or I misspoke, or I just said it all wrong, or whatever, that Neil Gaiman had written the Swamp Thing stuff, which is not true. It was Alan Moore.
Got it.
So, we were talking about a lot of different things. We got a lot of them twisted up. So fact check us, because we ain't right about everything.
True story. So folks who want to write that in, the answer is where, Michael? Where can they send those corrections?
They can send that to podcast@weweregamers.com.
Nice.
Yeah, do it. You were wrong
but we got
at weweregamers.com.
But no, that's not the email address, so don't. No. But we got a lot of emails about e-bikes this week, apparently.
Yeah.
So let's talk about a few.
So one email here clarifies the other type of bike that I did not get, that we should talk about as well, that I didn't talk about because I didn't know how people were interested in this kind of thing. So we could do that one first. I think that would be good.
Okay.
Yeah. And the beginning of this, I should clarify. I think I said the mileages that I get out of mine, but it's very battery and wattage dependent. So here's the email. Speaking of electric bikes, there are multiple types of electric bikes. The one that I ride, this is from Mr. and Mrs. Hall, that I ride is a bicycle that is battery powered with a motor that only works when you pedal. So it's there's two different ways that those can work. One would be resistance, and the other would be sensor based. I forget what the actual term is, where one feels whether the pedal is being pushed, and the other is more like a speedometer and determines whether or not it's spinning. Right.
Okay, so one's like looking at the what's the chain and the axle or whatever, and then the other one is looking for like depression on the pedal.
They're both watching the rotation of the pedal in a way, because the
different ways, I guess,
the motor, right? The motor is one big housing, and so it either determines if you're pushing or if it's rotating.
Got it. Okay.
And those react different ways to follow the law, because the pedal assist is only allowed to help you at certain times. If you are in certain classifications, we could talk about that in a second, because this email brings up other classifications. The battery range on this bike that he's talking about is 35 miles, and his bike weighs 48 pounds. That's interesting. Mine is a 52-pound bike, including the battery. And I think I mentioned the range was somewhere around 40 to 50 miles. That's on high, I found out. I put it into economy mode, which means it helps you a lot later in the power band and only for a certain amount of range. And it said 90 miles.
Which makes sense, right?
Okay.
The idea of economy, it's using the battery less or whatever.
I also am guessing that I might have a newer bike and the battery might be larger and heavier, because 50, that's 4 more pounds. My bike weighs 4 more pounds.
So, I was going to say, I bet most of that weight is in the battery.
Right.
100%. It's not like it's not like you bought a steel frame bike instead of aluminum. Like, that's not a thing.
I'm sure
iron. We've made this bike out of only iron.
This bike is driven by steam power
and lead.
Superman can't nuke this bike. Electra Townie is the name of that bike. I've seen those. They're cute. They're bikes, kind of cruiserish. The other bike we have takes the e-bike experience to the next level. It is much bigger and heavier. It weighs about 60 pounds. It has a battery range of 60 miles with a much bigger battery. The added feature is a throttle like a moped. This bike will move without pedaling if the rider wants to use that feature. It is very helpful when riding up hills. Yes. So now we get into we need to talk more about bikes. thing, and and that will lead into our second email here from. I bet you guys, if you've been paying attention, you might have heard the name Alex M on this podcast.
I have.
We like our emails from Alex M. Alex M says, I've super been considering a purchase like you were describing with a bike. Would love any links, extra insights you might have. Thanks. I will say it depends very heavily on the state that you live in, the information you need about buying an electric bike. However,
I was just going to say, I bet the laws are important here, right?
Yes. However, if you consider that you want to go to national parks, there's a key piece of information that we will talk about in a second. Nationally speaking, people have started to delineate 3 classes of electric bike. One, the type that we were talking about with the pedal assist only, where there's a motor that is mounted that determines whether you are pedaling somehow. That pedaling then is the only way that the battery and motor assist you in pushing the bike. That's class 1. The pedal assist has to shut off at 20 miles an hour.
As in it won't help you above?
The battery and motor cannot assist you if your speed enters a phase above 20 miles an hour.
Okay, got it.
Class 2 is allowed to have a throttle instead of just pedal assist. It can also have a speedometer. And it can operate in only throttle mode without you pedaling it. But it can't cross over 24 miles an hour, I believe, is the California rule, but it's different in different states.
So there's some limit on the top speed, even though this is veering into mopedish territory.
Mopedish territory. Absolutely, yeah. That is just throttle, though. It will pedal the bike or do whatever it does on its own, but you pedaling does not affect the throttle. Then there's class 3, where if you're pedaling, it can assist you above 20 something miles an hour for people that want to go super duper duper fast. There's also some bikes that have what they call unlimited modes, where the throttle will just drive you as fast as you physically can go. So like a moped, they reach like 35, 45 miles an hour on a bicycle.
Sounds kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's really like 4 classes of bike, but there's only 3 recognized classes of bike. Most national parks, if not all, most ones that allow bikes, so not all national parks, only allow class 1 bikes or bicycles with their batteries turned off if they can't operate as class 1 bikes. That's the like national rule.
That's what I would have guessed.
Beyond that,
wonder how enforced that rule is. I'm gonna guess not very.
So I will get to that. Beyond that, there are many different rules in different places. Some paved bike paths will allow class 2 bikes. Some state parks or county parks won't even allow electric bikes on like mountain biking paths at all, not even class 1 bikes. Some bike paths are class 1 and lower only. Class 3, as far as I can tell, is allowed road only, is pretty much everywhere. And then unlimited is technically illegal, right? We provide it, you decide it, is the name of the game on that one. You know, we're not letting you're driving a Maserati. It's not like we're telling you to break the law because it goes faster than the speed limit.
But sure,
but you can go as fast as you want it to.
The Bugatti's top speed is 250, but you don't have to go that fast.
Yeah,
right.
You don't have to top it out.
Right. And so when I was looking at, I actually went and I test rode. And Alex, I would suggest you do this. Go to places and test ride bicycles. They love it. Because most of those people are super into the bikes and they just want to talk about them.
I will tell you, not pertaining to e-bikes, but we took my wife's bike to a bike shop near us, and just because it needed some like fixing generally, and they were like so happy and like really into doing the work, and then also were like, "You want to check out these e-bikes? Look how cool they are!" Like people were like wheeling them around in the store, and they had a little area cordoned off in the parking lot where they were letting people ride them around. So.
Yeah. Go ride them with the batteries on, and then ride them with the batteries off, and decide for yourself. I think the biggest thing when looking at an electric bike is deciding for yourself where you're going to use it for. I went and I rode the moped style one, and I gotta say, like, if I were a person that was like having trouble, I've seen a lot of people with like assistance bikes where they're lower to the ground and they're like tricycle and they have like a big gearing systems, or maybe I had like knee issues, etc. Those moped ones are awesome, because you just throw it in throttle mode and that's the end of it, right?
Yeah.
But as much as it is fun that they ride like a motorcycle, they also ride like a motorcycle that you then have to push if it doesn't have a battery on. They don't have any gear.
It helps you get up that hill. You're also taking a 50-pound rocket down that hill.
Yeah, well, it doesn't have any gearing because it has a 1,000-watt motor on it,
Right.
So if the battery dies on you, which it shouldn't, right? You plan ahead. It's got 60 miles of range. How often do you ride even 10 miles?
If you're Mr. So I happen to know Mr. and Mrs. Hall who sent us that email.
Gotcha.
They do every day. They are on those bikes all the time.
Aha.
They are going. So the reason, my understanding is, they got those bikes is because, the age comes for us all, Andy, and it is nicer to be able to take a bike ride and not murder your knees or your hips or whatever piece of injury you have today, but still be able to get a workout if you want one, right? Mm-hmm. Or get the workout on the way out and then on the way back chill.
Yeah, sure. I see and love the moped style. I did. I got as far as putting one from Seattle into my cart and deciding that I was going to buy it. And then we, as a family, discussed what we were going to do biking. And there happened to be a bicycle sale at, I guess I could just say the chain, REI. They're a big brand. I don't, I don't think people have generally negative feelings about that company. And I went and test rode class 1 bikes there. And for our use as a family, it made more sense to get a class 1 bike because I could take it the places that I wanted to go more often without getting in my head about what was legal. And
I mean, if you follow the rules, you can't get in trouble for not following the rules, right?
Right, but so the thing that the moped people told me is like, how many cops come in here to buy these things? They're not, if you're not tooling around at 250 miles an hour, no one's going to pull you over.
Right.
They're very different. They ride very different. The class 1 bikes are a bicycle with a little bit of added weight so that it can assist you if you want it to. The class 2 bikes are, and even if it says it can go 45 miles an hour in throttle mode, that's still technically a class 2 bike. You got to choose not to run it not as a class 2 bike.
Sure.
Gosh, there's so much about electric bikes. What ended up really helping me was test riding both and then seeing what you get for the price with each bike, because the prices range wildly based on who manufactures them and what parts they're using. And if you're going to get a class 1 bike, the advantage is that it's a bicycle. So if it breaks, you can take it to a bicycle shop. Now, they may not have exactly the right parts if you buy some sort of... Like if you buy a Rad Power is a big brand. I don't necessarily recommend or not recommend them. I don't have one, but they're a big brand. But you order the bike, right? And it gets sent to your house. And yeah, it's a bicycle and you can get the bicycle parts fixed pretty much anywhere. But they manufacture their own custom motor and their own custom brakes and their own custom battery.
Sure.
So those you have to order from them and wait for them to show up. The bike that I bought uses all Shimano parts, Shimano battery, Shimano motor, Shimano brakes. So any bike shop could get those and replace them, you know. That's one benefit of like a class 1. A class 2, all the parts are basically custom all the time because the motors are 1,000-watt motors. The batteries are massive because they're made for each bike specifically. What they use for brakes varies very wildly. I mean, like some of them have hydraulic disc brakes because you got to be able to stop going 45 miles an hour.
Yeah, I would say if you're going 45, you want serious brakes. That like real ones at this point.
I've seen electric bikes with caliper brakes. I'm not kidding you.
I fully believe it.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's all over the place. And so the real problem is narrowing down what you're going to use it for. Do you need to carry a ton of cargo all the time? Okay, well, that helps because only 3 or 4 companies make good cargo bikes. So you look up cargo bike reviews. Outdoor Gear Lab is a good place to start. They have a decent review system. Electrek, Treck, is a good resource of people that get access to all the electric bikes because they review everything electric. Those 2 places are good places to start if you're looking for it. Your use case really helps determine where you need to look, and then determining what you get for the price is a good sell. Those moped ones, you get a lot more for the price, but might be harder to repair, but they're also more expensive, right?
I think the thing that I have heard from people is mostly like, if you're used to riding a normal bike, the added weight is going to matter. And you should know that it's going to be way heavier, right?
And they don't ride like bikes, right? The added weight. If you just mean electric bike in general. Yes and no. It depends. A lot of them have the big old fat tires and they only have 1 gear because they're powered by a hub motor. And that makes the weight weighty.
Mm-hmm.
My bike weighs 50 pounds, but it's got gearing. I don't notice it super a lot. So, I mean, there's a ton to know. Like what you get built into them can be high or low. Like mine has a built-in light that goes from the battery. Some don't. I mean, within their own models, like the Super 73 that everyone sees advertised everywhere, some models have it, some models don't, that are built in that power off the battery. And every bike that you look at has another competitor. So like if you're looking at relatively inexpensive bikes like Rad bikes, they have competitors. If you're looking for higher end bikes like Aventon bikes, they have competitors. And shop around. Don't settle quickly would be my advice. Yeah. There you go. More? Email? Questions? Specific questions?
Send them in.
Yeah. There's because you can get into nitty gritty specifics of like, okay, what are the best motor manufacturers? Well, those would be Bosch and Shimano, maybe, but it depends on the Shimano model. Who makes the best batteries? Well, all of them are good as long as they have Panasonic cores. Don't get a $100 bike from China because it will burn your house down.
Are those the ones that have been causing the garage fires?
Basically, yeah. Thermal runaway is a real issue. Make sure whoever manufactures the battery is a real company.
And to be fair, that goes for like most electronic products. Like, Jesus. I just completely dropped something. If you're doing, buying cheap laptops, you're buying weird little hoverboards, scooters, electric skateboards I've seen.
Yeah.
Like all of those have the same issue. They got batteries on them, man.
Yeah. The smaller the device, the smaller the problem, right? So it's harder to notice these issues. But even big name companies like Samsung had a problem with their, what was it, Galaxy phones exploding?
Sure, but they're a big enough company that they have a reputation and they will fix it for you, right?
Yeah,
I mean, they're not going to look. They're not going to fix your house burning down. That's why you have insurance.
Right. But also, a phone lighting on fire is not going to burn your house down nearly as often. You can catch a phone, unlike
but an electric skateboard might.
Well, if you plug in your bike in the garage, like most people do, and you leave it plugged in because you go to bed, unlike the directions, maybe it burns down while you're sleeping. You know. It's an expensive purchase anyway. If you're getting something nice, make sure it's made by somebody real. That's my advice there. I'm afraid of my house burning down. That's all.
I think that's
good. Yeah, I will absolutely continue on this if people have more specific questions. Like, I did research on this, and this, but I don't understand why you would want front but no rear suspension. I have an answer for that. But you'd have to email to ask.
Yeah, if you want to ask questions, folks, you heard. Send those in. podcast@wewergamers.com. But I think we all have the question. Did you burn anyone's house down in Champions of the Continent?
Oh, am I supposed to have? Not yet. I got a lot of thoughts and feelings. Buckle up.
Okay. Yeah. Where are you at?
I am chapter 2 complete for Fame, and I am one boss battle away from chapter 2 complete Wealth, and I have not started chapter 2 Power.
Okay, so yeah, that chapter 2 Fame ending.
Huh? Yeah. What a thing.
I wish that I could back an armored car over Francesca every single day for the rest of my life.
It wouldn't be enough times, honestly.
Yeah.
I have a party of 8 female characters. 8. In a game that seems to hate women.
They're certainly not kind.
First of all, how on earth would any one writer be like, yes, this is it. This is my moment. The twist is going to be that the mom will choose the deranged psychopath over her own child. And then you're going to fight her in a battle. One was enough. But I guess the catharsis of me being able to stomp on her in the boss battle. I'm no member of the He-Man woman haters. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But Francesca deserved to be hit with ice level 2 repeatedly.
Special kind of evil.
Yeah. Dude. I can't believe the story went there. I was busy recording like the gallows thing. And do you remember the gallows thing?
Yeah.
Okay, so for spoilers here. Spoilers if you're playing this game. Just jump ahead, I guess. The gallows thing I thought was really messed up. Where it was like, yeah, he found these gallows from an old king and he moved them here because of the morbid nature of the punishment, which was like the what was it? The criminal's family gets put on the gallows and then they have to choose
2 of them,
one
and they
have
to choose one.
Yeah. It's like he hangs his wife or his kid, and you get to pick one. Yeah.
I was like, wow, that's horrific and terrible. And then I thought, like, oh, interesting. Like, that's going to be what we have to do for Francesca and the kid. Like, they were going to bring the thing back. No, they just, like, twist that into an even more morbid thing where, like, she's choosing between 2 people that aren't even equivalent. And clearly he's lying the entire time. But, you know,
Stockholm syndrome.
Whoever, well, I don't know, whoever wrote it, you know, really didn't want her to choose the way that most people would think you would have to choose.
Yeah. I think their attempt at being mature went overboard here, and they didn't have enough writing acumen, I guess, to tell a story like this. Right? If this was like a 500-page novel, maybe there's a way you could get to this story, right?
Sure, yeah.
But I don't think in a video game in 2 chapters.
If Craig Mazin
2 hours total of gameplay, maybe.
If Craig Mazin had 13 hours, I'd believe it. The guy that did Last of Us.
Okay. Yeah.
And with that TV show about the nuclear place. Chernobyl, that one.
Sure.
Sure. Yeah. But like the 1 hour, I mean, man, those story chapters are really long. Like really long.
They are, yeah.
The talking goes on and on and on and on. It's like,
you want an RPG, man? This is the game.
I know, but it's like walk to the next screen. Wait for them to. It's just tough because I have to get through all of it. I think the problem is this. I think the problem is that I know that I need to get through it to do the Master of All thing, to get the Nameless Town thing. And so I'm somewhat getting a little impatient because it's not something I can bite size easily to take on a chapter. So it's not like I can take the kids somewhere and then like bite size 5 minutes of the chapter, because just 5 minutes is only about half the talking before I get to stop.
Yeah, you kind of have to get through a scene to where it lets you back out on the map, and then you're okay.
Right.
But if those scenes go on, you kind of are stuck there.
Yeah. I did do one of the Traveler stories. I did Sophia's Traveler story because she's in my party and I wanted to. Those are very bite-sized.
Yes, those are really good. Some of them are a little bit longer, but for the most part, they are much shorter.
Yeah. So that was a good reminder that, like, okay, the story stuff isn't the only thing going on. And despite the fact that I know that I got to mainline it so that I can get the things unlocked that I need to unlock, because you got to start the economy working, eventually the game will be more bite-sized, and that's been helpful. I was not super down on the writing, actually, even after the Francesca thing, because I was excited to be like, I Mac trucked that lady, and I wish I could do it again. You know? Because I was like, I was level 35, and I was like, here, you want a level 4 fire spell from Lynette? Enjoy. Here, you want another one? Enjoy. Here's a third one. Enjoy. I was having a great time.
We got that 4X, man. Let's go.
Yeah. But then I did Master of Wealth Chapter 2, which was already a little bit on the, like, I'm not sure about this drug use and prostitution thing, because they didn't have a good track record in Octopath Traveler on treating this well. Man, does that culture really despise women that work in the trade?
It's not great. I mean,
I get that she's the bad guy, but like, they tell you in chapter 2 that she was sold into earmuffs prostitution by her sisters so that they could inherit a fortune. And then you're supposed to be like, oh, she did that willingly and she's come back and killed them for it. Oh, what a bad guy. And I'm like, all right, I kind of like her. You know?
I think the coming back and killing her sister's part isn't the bad part. It's the everything else turning the entire town into the drug-addled crime family that she rules over with the iron fist is the bad part.
I get that she's not a good person, but They didn't give me a backstory that makes me feel like she made bad choices.
Yeah, you can't really blame her for killing people is illegal, yada yada. But like, you can't be blaming her so much for what she did to her sisters who like ruined her life, right?
Well, but and the story even is written to be like blaming her for like she was sold into slavery, and then she was a slave. How evil! It's like no, she was like trafficked. I don't think she had a choice. Oh no, it's evil that she sold her body. It's like, me no likey. You're writing here. Your whole ass is hanging out.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I don't think there are any women involved in the Power storyline.
No, there aren't, and it's the one that's easiest to be like, oh, this guy's a bad guy. He's doing the things that normal bad guys do.
Well, there's the one.
Oh, the blind woman that
Ryu,
right?
Yeah. But she's like, she's a protagonist. She's like doing like she's other than the women in my party who are really tired of being told by men what's wrong. As I don't know if you've noticed that, but all the main quest people are men.
I just want to say though, what's his name from the Wealth storyline is my bro. I wish that guy was a guy I could have in my party. I like him.
What's Berlatoni or something? Bergel?
Bergamo? Something.
Bergoni? I don't know what his name is. I can't keep. There's so many names.
I liked that guy by the end of that storyline.
Well, who's more interesting to me in that storyline, who I don't know how it's going to turn out with, but that Sonya woman that shows up is interesting. Right? But I'm sure they're going to be like, and then she did horrible things. It's like, yeah, she's in a crime family.
Michael.
Yeah, just keep playing the chapters, Andy. Just keep playing the chapters.
Wonderful.
Yep. Look, I'm just going to say it's not like this game is out there not foreshadowing exactly everything that's going to happen. So, you probably could look, man, you could probably guess where this stuff is going.
I'm guessing where it's going, but like I said, I've got a party of 8 women here. They're all very strong. They're really tired of all of these men quest givers and their problems with women.
I will tell you that the next story arc features more heavily a couple of female protagonists.
That would be nice.
Yeah. As like strong characters.
Good. Yeah. I don't dislike the game. The writing is from a different place with different values. And while bad guys are bad guys and killing people is not good, and therefore we have to take these people down, we could probably lay off the like judgment a little bit.
I think in terms of actual gameplay, I have finally fully armed and operational statused my nut farming, and am like, oh, experience. I can finally gain it again.
I have a problem with experience.
I mean, you're severely over leveled to the content you're playing, so you don't really have that much of a problem with it.
Well, so but my problem is that this is what I was going to mention, actually, was one of the things on my list to talk about. I have a bunch of 3.5-star characters that are going to be level capped here any minute.
Yeah, so I'm running into that too.
I have several that have hit caps. Yep.
And I am, I've still got 1, 2, 3, 4, plus however many Master of All chapters to do before I can unlock hunts.
You only need to do the first one, so you can get it pretty quick.
So 5 more mainline chapters, which is like 5 hours before I can unlock hunts and even start to work on trying to class up my 3.5 stars into 4 stars.
But you really won't need it. Like the experience gains you're going to start getting are just going to be like ignoring the Kates.
Yeah,
everything else is going to be pittances.
Oh, I get experience from almost nothing at this point.
Right. So like my point is like, yeah, you'll do the daily Kates. And at this point, trade your 3.5 stars that are capped out with other 3 stars and level them up. That's what I've been doing. I found, here's my tip for the day. I found a 3-star person who gives the person in their row 10% experience.
Oh,
yes.
That works on everything. That's pretty good.
I've got to learn how to use Lynette better. Like, I'm sure there's really good strategies with Lynette, but like, I'm not very good at the row switch timing, especially because she's one of my biggest damage dealers. I have to keep her in the back charging up for a nuke a lot of the time. And then she's fast, so she jumps up, and the people that are in the back are also charging nukes. And so then they all jump up at the same time, but they're behind her, so they don't get the bonus. So I gotta figure that out.
So for something like that, what you want to do is you want to leave her in the back row and switch everyone else up a turn ahead.
Yeah, but then they get beat up.
Yeah, that is the unfortunate part of the front row.
That's how it goes.
But it's important that they not get beat up because Sophia halves all her SP costs if she's at full health.
Sure.
So, that 40 SP spell is only 20 SP. Kind of important also.
The tough life of a team builder.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's a good game when it comes to the thing. I have to tell you something, Michael, and it's going to blow your mind.
Okay.
It's not the Bravely default system.
Okay, in what sense?
Well, one thing you said you wish you could do is defend. Would you
that
like
would be
to know,
nice at times.
Would you like to know what defaulting is in Bravely Default?
It's defending.
It sure is. So in Bravely Default, so in this, if you just do one action, you gain an extra action the next turn, right?
Right.
In Bravely Default, you have to default to get the extra actions. So you need to defend. Right? You don't just auto gain extra actions. You do very often start with extra actions because your characters start with extra actions, and then you can just rip through battles like this one where you have like, I'll just boost all and attack. You could do that, right? At the beginning.
Yeah, Alpha Strike.
Yeah, you usually start with extra, but to get them back, you gotta like default to get them back. The other thing in Bravely Default is that when you brave and you get your extra actions, it's literally another turn. So like, I'm gonna attack 4 times means I'm going to attack 4 times 4 targets. So I attack this one, this one, this one, and this one. Not I attack 4 times on the same target, or I boost my spell times 4. You cast the thing 4 times, and you can change targets each time, which would make this game broken.
Yeah, it would trivialize a lot of things if you could do that.
Yeah, there would be no contest for 90% of fights.
Because of the break system, which Bravely Default does not have.
Yep. And I will say the whatever the setting is that allows you to like pick targets per character becomes really helpful for those things.
Oh, yes. You have to. I mean, because oftentimes I don't have a bow or a spear in my formation currently.
Yeah, I have a spear that I rotate in, but yeah.
I do have, however, 3 fan users. So it becomes really important, like splitting up who's attacking what, because oftentimes I can kill everything in one go if I'm paying attention and change targets. But yeah, it is a Bravely alike, but the Bravely system is much, much, much more idiosyncratic. It would honestly make this game probably too long to be a mobile game.
Sure.
The battles would take forever.
I think you will get some of that Alpha Strike feeling back, Andrew, as you start to power your characters up a lot more, and you unlock nodes that allow them to start with extra BP.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yes, those are super helpful.
So I know 5-star characters have them on the last board in the very center.
Okay.
I just unlocked my first one.
Probably costs a lot of JP.
I think it's like 4. Yeah. And every step on that last board is like 2.
Ooh.
But the bonuses are quite high. So, rushing it is actually kind of good. Maybe pick up some stuff along the way so your character isn't useless. But
there are some good passives along the way for a lot of characters. Like I mentioned, Sophia's passive of like half SP at full health. Oh my god.
Yep.
Just casting.
Viola has one that is like a single target, lower defense, lower physical and magical defense by 20%. Like, yeah, I'm detouring for that.
She's also got one that is lower the shield of every enemy on the field by 2, regardless of weakness.
Yep, I have to get that one. That's my next stop.
Who is that?
It's a
Viola.
Yeah.
Aww.
It's a fire attack though. So unfortunately
it's not. That one's not. That one's a dagger.
Oh, okay. She has also a fire attack one that does that then.
Okay.
Yeah, but it is a Andrew, the SP pool doesn't make that work as well as you want it to, man. Yeah, it hits twice, but it will take off 2 shields, but only 2. And so when you 4 times it or whatever, you still only get 2 hits.
Yeah. I mean, that's still 1 hit better than my shield break on Aslight or however you say her name.
Yeah. Like you say, as you get farther along, if you encounter Kates in the wild or whatever, you really just need spells that hit multiple times.
I love though that when I cast that is every time I cast it, she says shield crack. I'm like, yes, shield crack. Yes, thank you for casting it again and again and again.
The voice acting is good sometimes.
It is good. I really like it actually. Even the marvelous.
Yeah,
Lord, that marvelous guy.
I genuinely love the voice acting. It's very fun and good many times. I laugh and I'm reading the subs and I know just enough Japanese to be like, that's not everything he said, or like he said way more in English than he did in Japanese. Or like
localization.
Yeah. Or knowing a little bit of Japanese and being like, huh, it's an interesting way to translate the idea of what he said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun. I have a question for you about, oh God, people are probably so bored of us talking about this game, but there's so much going on in the game. Should I continue to farm the monsters in the Nameless Wilds?
Yes.
Why?
Yes.
Because once you have finished building those buildings, you can trade in those extra materials for shards that let you buy future materials that show up in the exchange.
Okay.
So those shards you can trade for stuff, right? Like some of them you can trade for example, the materials you need to build the nut farm. I think you need like several hundred in order to do that. But also you can trade for like accessories for your characters. You can trade for weapons. And in the future, apparently they add like all kinds of crazy stuff to that shop, but it costs like 10,000 shards.
Oh God.
Yeah. Also the path actions of everyone in the Nameless Town reset every day. And
do they have path actions before I unlock the nut farm? Because I don't know what I've already done the little party on the hill, but there's only 3 people living there.
Yeah, so each of the 3 people, there should be 1 power, 1 fame, and 1 wealth.
Oh.
He probably doesn't have all those people yet. I don't think you're far enough.
If he got the party on the hill, he should have them
I have
all.
The artist,
and his wife.
Yeah, the merchant and Nefty that live there. I don't know.
Yeah, there should be 4 people that live there.
Okay.
For where you are. There'll be a 5th when you add the nut farm.
I actually haven't checked.
Redo their actions every day because they reset more of those shards.
Okay.
And you can farm those every day.
I've not done any of that either. See, this is the thing with these games that is frustrating. Is like, I didn't know that I need to be farming these for the last 2 months,
It's not gonna like make or break you.
Yeah. Well, so the thing about it is nothing in this game goes away other than the like limited time collaboration characters. So you don't really have to be all that worried about getting somewhere as fast as you can because you're gonna miss it. You're basically
so bad.
not.
If we even get him, man, who knows?
Yeah, that's true. They said? No, they probably haven't said if there's gonna be a new character this week. But
No. But the content update, the major content update for this month drops on Wednesday.
Oh, so there will be something new, probably. What?
Yes.
Yeah. They'll probably have a new banner.
There's actually there's going to be new mainline story content.
Oh,
that's for people past all chapter 8.
So yeah, you pass chapter 8, and then there are one or two epilogue missions to after chapter 8, and then
of
Master of All, right, which is the next story arc.
But once I get past chapter 1, I don't need to like rush, because then I'll have hunts and the nut farm.
Yes.
Okay.
The final upgrade of the nut farm requires you to begin chapter 3.
Okay.
But you will unlock it in the beginning of chapter 1, and that will probably be enough for a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, Andrew, the ranking of nuts, okay? You got the S, you got the M, you got the L.
Yeah.
Then you got Tasty S. Then you got Tasty M.
Oh.
You got Tasty L.
Okay.
Those numbers are bigger, and it's in that order, right? So Tasty S already bigger than L. And you farm the tasty ones from the nut farm.
JJ, there's one more.
Oh, I haven't seen any one more. Don't blow my mind. I've only seen Tasty L. That's as far as I can go.
There are Supreme.
Well, I don't know where you get Supreme, but I want it desperately.
So 1, Supreme only come in large. And 2, they are a random rare drop from the trees in the nut farm.
Good Lord. Well, maybe one day I'll see one of those, but I haven't yet. I did only just upgrade it the final time today. So
okay, yeah, you'll see them within the next couple of days that you farm it. So yeah, the story content. You finish chapter 8, you finish the 2 epilogue stories, and then you get the prologue. It splits back up into 3, and you get the prologue of each of the next 3 chapters.
Oh.
And let me tell you, those prologues, some crazy stuff starts happening.
Does everyone start talking like cats? That'd be crazy.
Not right meow.
Every time I get the letter from the cat, I just keep reading it in Meowth from Pokemon's voice. Like, Meowth, that's right. And it's like, oh God.
I wish that I didn't have to read that letter every single time to collect it.
And just not read it.
No, but you
just tap through it.
Yeah, I know, but like, why do I have to tap things so many times? Don't make me tap so much.
It's a mobile game.
Hashtag engagement.
How many times do you have to
want to hashtag engage with this podcast, you can email us and find us on social media.
Okay, look, email us more bike questions. I will answer specific bike questions, because you shouldn't buy a bike in 1 week. You should have a lot of research and email me more questions. But my review of my electric bike is that I'm 100% happy that I got an electric bike and not a regular one.
Cool.
There you go. Podcast at wewergamers.com.
Yeah. Find us on Instagram and YouTube, and on the other places.
Social media, podcasting apps.
We're
all over the place.
Tweet at us, hashtag stop talking about Champions of the Continent.
Hey, look at it this way. We are nowhere close to Hearthstone levels of game discussion.
That is true.
Yeah. So like Stufu. That's what I'm saying.
But please keep listening.
You know what? No, I've decided at this point, the podcast, we're going to be abusive to our user base, and that's what we're going to do now.
If you're a fan of insert credit, they really took off once they started calling their mail thing the Dirt Bag.
It's a great name. We do a point of order to the podcast. I know we have talked about doing the food thing, and we talked about answering it, and we didn't do that today. We'll do that next time. Agreed?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm ready next time.
Okay.
I'm ready next time.
I will also next time be ready.
Riker slumped on the bridge.jpg next time, please. So tired.
Marvelous.
And I will maybe we'll talk about other video games then too, but no promises.
I guess.